This video is sponsored by Unstille magazine, which covers the extreme underground from K-pop to black metal. Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today I'd like to talk about an album called Traveler by a group called Boxen. Boxen is a sibling trio, which they essentially do like indie folk, but like probably one of the most unique takes I've heard of folk music. I first saw them perform live back in, I believe it was, I'll say October or November 21, essentially the fall of 21. And, I went to support them as a friend, but I was legitimately blown away how amazing their set was. The clashing vocals sounded beautiful, and despite it just being acoustic guitar, which I love acoustic guitar and acoustic music, like it was just beautiful. It was a surreal experience. I was just like swept away in their music, and I was so excited whenever they announced the Kickstarter for their album Traveler, which I also got vinyl for. The very first vinyl I ever purchased. I love the way like some of their songs are pretty progressive for the genre. If you think about a song like Ontario, which, starts off like peppy. I was like, okay, I'm not always a fan of this peppy, but then it goes like so slow and this like soulful. Like it's so good. And I just like, even not many songs ever really, changes tempos, but this does. I'm used to that happening with like rock and metal, but not folk. And it was just beautiful. I'm just blown away when I heard that single. I bet I saw them perform it live, but I honestly don't have memory of them performing it live. The songs I do remember them performing live was a song called Aurora, which I personally think translates better live than studio. So if you ever get the chance to see them live, please do so. But Aurora is essentially based upon just seeing the northern lights, and it's just such a beautiful sweeping song that lasts 7 minutes. It's just a journey of pure beauty. The song before it, Alaska, is also just one that immerses you into just surreal beauty. Despite it only repeating the one line, "Follow me to Alaska," for 2 minutes, it stays fresh as there are continual layers that build up and take you to that plane of Alaska in your own mind. Some songs have like great grooves, like California. There's a little guitar part that gets me going, or even Northern Frontier, which is another song that slaps even harder live, just seeing their energy and passion and soul just pouring out of that song. But there are some straight up songs like Santa Fe or Evergreen, which they are beautiful songs. I guess the issue is that I was just expecting an album full of like just progressive elements after hearing some of the pre-release songs, and I guess I expected too much. So I definitely love listening to the album, and I definitely enjoy hearing those songs, but I guess I was just expecting a little too much and didn't completely get those with many of the tracks. But some songs are just good songs in their own right, just not necessarily songs I was expecting. And honestly, that's my fault. I should have been a little more open-minded coming into the album, expecting straight up songs. But a song like Adeline really translates the beautiful clash of the vocals that usually translates better live, but studio Adeline sounds just like the live experience of just the beautiful harmonies just going at it against each other, but also with each other at the same time. One really weird song was The Cold, where, it has the vocal effects. I saw them perform part of it live. It seems like they would want to perform it with the effects live, but they don't have the equipment to. And honestly, I just prefer live with their raw vocals without any effects. It does bring that sense of emptiness and openness of the expanse, but also closedness at the same time with the vocal effect, but it doesn't make for the most pleasurable listening experience. After hearing Bethany essentially take charge of the vocals for most of the album, singing lead, it was a little bit of a surprise hearing Ethan take charge for On and On, which in some regards almost makes me wish it was tossed up in the track listing, so it wouldn't have been such a surprise for it being the last track, but also works out well because it is the one song that has the orchestral elements that none of the other songs have, and so it does work as a goodbye song, which also thematically and lyrically it does as well. While listening to the album for the first time on headphones, I could notice that like the transitions between songs were a little harsh or uneven, specifically from Alaska to Aurora, where those two songs are meant to like, tie in together, especially live, but they put them back to back on the album. But I could just hear that the transition wasn't smooth. Were a few elements, specifically like the guitar plucking on Aurora just felt a little too high in the mix on headphones, or honestly the scraping sound on Traveler, which is a bop of a song, but it felt a little harsh on headphones. But honestly, I feel like all those little nitpicky things I mentioned were mostly notable during the first listen, and I probably just accepted from then on, and also haven't necessarily listened on headphones since that time. So I don't know. They are nitpicky things. I definitely wish transitions were nicer, maybe a little more time, smoother. But those were still things I did notice. But yeah, whether you're one who likes progressive music, you might like a song like Ontario. If you just like a beautiful normal song, you might like a song like Someday. I think there's a lot on this album for a lot of people, and especially for those who aren't maybe a huge fan of the genre, I think they'll find a song on here that they'll like and appreciate. Even though I was expecting the album to be good, I'm still surprised how much I truly do love this project. So yes, please go and check out Traveler by Boxen. It's a beautiful, amazing, creative album. Yes, I forgot the melodies. The melodies on these songs are amazing as well. So yes, if you want something fresh on your playlist that also just sounds freaking beautiful, please check out Traveler by Boxen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of the day, and God bless.